Prop 22 is about app driver labor policy and was put on the ballot by people who collected more than 300,000 signatures from registered voters in California. And it asked voters, do you want app-based rideshare and delivery drivers to be considered as a hybrid of an independent contractor and an employee? So workers in California are governed by different laws depending on if they're an independent contractor or an employee. As an employee, the employer must provide payments into Social Security, unemployment, disability, and employees are entitled to breaks, vacation, sick pay, overtime pay, and a minimum wage, which in California is $13 an hour right now. In September 2019, the legislature clarified the definition of what an independent contractor is. And it includes, their new definition includes someone who is free from the hiring company's control and direction in the performance of their work, who does work that's outside the company's usual course of business, and who is in an established occupation of the same nature as the work that they're performing. This definition does not apply to doctors, dentists, insurance agents, lawyers, accountants, real estate agents, hairstylists, and creative professionals. California is a car-intensive state that invested in freeways in the 1940s instead of mass transit. There's about 900,000 Californians that provide rides or delivery services in the state, and drivers choose when and where to work, provide their own vehicles, and cover their own vehicle expenses. Many drivers work part-time and make between $11 and $16 an hour after accounting for waiting time and driving expenses. Rideshare and delivery companies have continued to hire drivers as independent contractors, even though they do not qualify under this new law as defined by the legislature. Based on this, the state attorney general sued Uber and Lyft to force them to hire drivers as employees. Currently, there's no ruling that has been made. It's still in court and awaiting a ruling. So in the meantime, Proposition 22 proposes that for a company that does not set a driver's hours, that does not require drivers to accept certain rides or deliveries, and does not restrict drivers from working for other companies, that they would also not be required to pay minimum wage or overtime or unemployment insurance or workers' compensation. Instead, Prop 22 would require the following from hiring companies: a pay of at least 120% of the local minimum wage for each hour spent driving, plus 30 cents per mile driven, a health insurance stipend in the amount of 82% of what their covered California premium would be to drivers who average at least 25 hours a week, and smaller subsidies for drivers who average 15 hours a week. It would provide coverage of medical expenses and lost income of up to $1 million when a driver's injured while they're driving, disability insurance of up to 66% of a driver's average weekly earnings. It restricts drivers from working more than 12 hours a day. It prohibits workplace discrimination and requires sexual harassment policies, criminal background checks of drivers, and safety training for the drivers. Prop 22 also prevents local jurisdictions from setting their own rules, such as a higher minimum compensation. Estimated fiscal effects are minor increases in state income tax paid by the app-based drivers and investors. So a yes vote means you want drivers of app-based rideshare and delivery companies to be allowed to work under this new hybrid system, combining employee and independent contractor aspects. And a no vote means you don't want these changes made to the job classification for app-based drivers. Support for 22 has collected $184 million from Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Instacart, and Postmates, And people who support 22 say that if rideshare and delivery drivers are forced to be classified as employees with set shifts, it'll limit the availability and affordability of these services. They also say Prop 22 improves the quality of the driver by providing better pay and more driver qualifications. Against 22 has collected $10.5 million from Teamsters, SEIU, and United Food and Commercial Workers Union. People who oppose 22 say these billion-dollar companies should offer their workers the same benefits as other companies are required to.